Hey y'all, welcome back to Spirit of the Outdoors. Showed you a little of my wood pile and my wood splitter that's broke. Well, I thought just for something simple today, I'd see about taking one of my hickory sticks that I got that I saved for these type of deals. See if we can make us a new handle. Y'all, it has been a while since I have tried to make a handle. In fact, a couple of years. Because you see, the one I busted was a store-bought handle. I got it ran up on a good deal on one, and I stuck it in one. So I may try to make a couple because I have that little maul, and then I have a heavier maul. And I like that little light one best because it does what I need to do. I'm not trying to split like giant chunks of wood. I normally just split up some of the smaller stuff into smaller pieces where they burn a little better, but I got a heavier one down here, and we'll see. But I've got a handle in my shave horse. Let's set up and work on it a little bit here. All right, so I've got this piece of hickory, and I cut down to a length that I wanted. So I cut both, and I took a hatchet and cut some. You see that limb there? Well, they were all down there, so I took my little hatchet, chopped them off. Now, these two, I'll use them for firewood. And I got these coveralls on, y'all, and I'd rather have my bibs, but I was thinking today's the last day of hunting season. I might attempt to go deer hunting season. I didn't know what all I was going to get into today. I got several things I need to do. I really need to go gather up a little more firewood, but I ain't going to run out tonight. We burning a lot of wood this week. So, I don't, deer hunting I would like to go, but it ain't one of those things that's like I gotta do today. I don't know. I want to get all the bark off. So right now I'm basically shaving, and I've got the bevel up right now. When you start trying to plane, you want that bevel down. But right now, peeling bark off, it works with the bevel up better for me. So you just have to be careful about it biting down into your wood. It'll take off a lot of wood this way. But it has a lot to do with the angle that you keep it at. So like right there, when I want to start taking off small curls and really working that wood, I want to turn that bevel down. So just in case some of you are not real familiar with this stuff, this draw knife and this shave horse, if you're going to make handles for anything, this is the way to go. I see people use a lot of different other things, and it all works. I mean, you can whittle it out with a pocket knife. This is the most practical method. If you're going to hand make any homemade wood stuff, especially handles, you need to build you a shave horse. And they're not that hard to build. I have not used this one a lot. And right now, I'm just, like I said, trying to get the bark off. I just hadn't made a lot of stuff. When I first built it, man, I was making all kind of stuff, hammer handles. And now it's more of a necessity than a hobby. So these knots, and y'all, I'm not like a purist on stuff. These knots and things, when I get ready to really shape and smooth some of that, it's real hard right there. And you see me hacking pretty hard. The ideal thing right there, let me go ahead and get it. I got a couple of these rasps. This is a good one. If you're gonna do a lot of wood shaping woodwork, that rasp, and that ain't holding it just real tight. And then I can flip over, smooth that down. So if you're gonna do a lot of woodworking, invest in some Farrier's rasp. They make life easy, easy. So I think I'm gonna turn this around and if I get all this bark off, then I'll start shaping. So I'm gonna cut it off till I get down to something else, because you can sit here and watch me whittle all day. This is the way I thought I fed them chickens a while ago. They'd hush, but no sir. They like, you gonna listen to us. I know I was supposed to have took them all in last night. I seen on Facebook, there was a bunch of people made posts that said, if you're gonna leave your pets outside to go stay with them, and I didn't. And they said if you didn't stay out there with them, you needed to bring them in. And I didn't. So I don't know. I may go to hell over that. I don't know. I'm sure some of them silly folks would like for me to, wouldn't they? Well, let me get the rasp and smooth this up. Now, y'all, it would be ideal to get a piece of wood that didn't have any knots in it to work around, okay? If you can get a perfectly straight pole that has no limbs on it, that's what you want to use. I just picked this up because it was laying here, and I said, you know what? I can make it work. It may not last as long as some others, but you know that don't matter to me. So now I am beveled down and I'm trying to smooth out some stuff. And I'll worry about which end I'm going to turn which way. I would like to use the little end on the head part. I'm trying to talk. Y'all, while I am doing this, I am also making a lot of good fire starter and kindling. When you're doing stuff for yourself, you don't waste anything really. Big old hawk just lit in a tree down there. I don't know. No, that's a big old red-headed woodpecker. Anyway, I just seen something, but you don't waste anything. That's like when I clean out my fireplace. I take the ashes, and right now I'm dumping a lot of them throughout my garden, but in compost piles, just here, there, and yonder. They help add to the soil, build up some nitrates and, well, not nitrates, but different chemicals in there that the soil needs to properly grow things. And that's why most of the time rural people have a better understanding of how the world works. Because you see how doing this one thing creates something for this product, creates something for this product, and there's a chain reaction down the line of everything. Everything has a use and a purpose. And that is the same way that big companies work. When you make a product and you take the waste from that product and use it to make another product, and when it's, done properly, and not every company is properly run, I well know this. But most of the time, rural people see how things work, what it takes to grow food, what it takes to raise animals, what it takes to feed yourself, what it takes to stay warm. And there's a lot of little things that go into that that'll, if all you do is work and take money and go buy everything you need, you're missing a lot of satisfaction. It's hard to explain to somebody how good it feels to sit here and know that, hey, I needed an axe handle, well, a wood, I call it a wood buster, a wood splitter handle or maul handle. And I take a stick out here and make it for myself. I'm taking care of me. And learning those skills, you're not dependent upon somebody else to see after you. Most people that, if everything in their world don't go perfect, they're handicapped. Like, well, I don't know what I'm going to do now. The power went out and with this ice storm, so many people, I just was a joke made to reel about the milk and bread and what's people doing with it. I mean, I know what they're doing. I'm not that stupid. I know why they're buying it. It's easy to make a sandwich. The point is why eat sandwiches? If my power goes out, I'm going to eat like Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner because I got a freezer full of stuff that, I need to start eating this stuff in this freezer so it don't go bad. And I'm not sitting here ill-prepared to where all of a sudden I can't cook. If when the power goes out, you have no heat and you can't cook your own meal, you have failed miserably in planning your life. You have prioritized terribly. Because the first thing you want to do is take care of basic necessities for yourself. And y'all, we living in a world where people are being pushed and encouraged to just become dependent on the government and on money and on stuff. And y'all, if something bad happens, God forbid we have another like the Great Depression where all of a sudden your money is useless. And it could very easily happen, y'all. And really it's very likely to happen, but I'm not a prophet. I don't know what's going to happen. I ain't going to sit here and preach doom and despair. But if it does happen, I don't want to be here to be like, well, I'm stuck. I can't. It's more of a slight inconvenience for me for the power to go out than it is like this horrible catastrophe, Now, my wife, she says, I think you just sit around and fantasize about the end of the world. Diamond Rio had a song talking about, he said, my daddy was a sidewalk soapbox preacher looking forward to the end of the world. But I ain't looking forward to it. I'm just prepared in a way that it don't matter to me, You need to be able, y'all, to see after yourself. And we have chased, and I talked about in the summer, chasing a dollar and making money and worrying about, living for somebody else. Y'all, I spent a long time of my life building somebody else's dreams. Roofing big cabins and cabins up on the Tombigbee River and camp houses and big fancy homes. And I worked on big pieces of equipment that was digging and building somebody else's dream and making their fortune, and I was just working a job, making a living. You have to do that. You've got to go through that stuff, and somebody's got to do it. I ain't knocking doing it, but after you do it for a while, it's time to stop and say, what about me? Why don't I work on my life? And y'all, you have to invest for a time in the early part of your life to get to a position that, I don't have to kill. I've got a place to live paid for. I've got a vehicle to drive paid for where I can get to work and go do what I need. And there's no point in just keep buying junk to be buying it. Now, when you can afford it and you've got some extra money and you can buy that kind of stuff, have at it. I am never against somebody having something that they can have, but it's like this stick right here. I come out here and I need this, and y'all, the first time I tried to build one of these, I didn't know what I was doing. And still can't right here and say I know what I'm doing, but I can figure it out. And one thing is investing in some tools to do what you need to do. I preach hand tools. I use a lot of power tools. I have hand air sanders and electric saws and chainsaws and stuff. But if you look around, you see a lot of hand tools just like this. Because sometimes I need to go off down yonder in the woods and split wood or cut wood or something, and I don't have power. Now the chainsaw obviously I can take, but you know, it runs out of gas, it breaks down, it malfunctions. You need to plan out in a way that you can see after you. And when you start doing that for a while and realize that I can feed myself, I can clothe myself, I can provide warmth for myself, and I can take care of me. You realize that this world out here is set up for catastrophe. It's like a baby laying in a cradle, and all of a sudden one day somebody comes by and says, you know what, I'm not going to give it a bottle of milk today. That baby can't do a thing. You're the same way when you're dependent on jobs and all the things that society has created. And if something was to happen to it, and I'm not saying it will, but it could. It has happened to other societies in the past. It is happening to other societies as we speak. I mean, you take the conflict overseas and all the things that are going on, and the people that are there. I mean, regardless of who's right, wrong, what, the fact of the matter is there's people that are thrown into things that they didn't ask for, that they didn't vote for, that they didn't choose. And in this country, I don't get on politics much, and I don't even like politics. I personally know people in my local area that are run for office that are good people. I know people right around here that are in offices in Washington that are good people. But the fact of the matter is those good people are few and far between, because I know people right here that are politicians that are crooked as a snake. And when they get to Washington, they can go up there, some of them good, and with the offer of money, they turn bad. And they'll turn on you because you voted for them because somebody else offered them a higher price. And the main thing about it is there's two kinds of people in this world. And this is the bottom line. There's good people and there's bad people. It don't matter what race they are. It don't matter what the color of their skin is. It don't matter what nation they come from. None of that matters. The whole thing is there's good people and there's bad people. And a lot of times we want to categorize, well, it's because of this in their life, and it's because, and it ain't all of that. There's poor people that was raised with nothing that are good people. There's poor people that they just is sorry and they don't deserve nothing. There's rich people that are good, they'll help, they've worked hard to get with that, and there's rich people that have cheated and stole and cheated their way to the top. And that's just a fact, y'all. And when you don't realize that, it makes it hard to vote in an election. And we got one coming up this year. And everybody's going to be, oh, this man's going to save us, or this man over here, or this woman's going to... And I'm telling you, they ain't none of them going to save you. You got to figure out who can directly maybe work on something that will impact my life in a positive way. Choose between the lesser of the evils. Somebody with some ability to make something happen. And y'all, I'm going to tell you, if our economy don't get worked on, we in a mess. I'm telling you we are. And that's why I say you need to be able to make your own axe handle if you need to. You need to learn how to do that. You may not know the first time you did it. I didn't. But you can get a piece of wood and start hacking on it. And when you fit it in here, if it breaks off, you go get you another stick and you start making another one. Y'all, I have learned way more from mistakes than I ever did from success that I had. When something malfunctioned and went backwards, broke, tore up, I said, well, I learned that that won't work. When I did something for the first time and everything went perfect, I got lucky. I didn't learn a thing. I could tell you instances. I'm not, because I'd be here all day telling you about it. But the biggest thing is when you're working on this kind of stuff, slow down, take your time. You ain't in a rush. It's like deer season this year. Y'all, I haven't killed all the deer I need to, which we've got primitive weapon season. Everything went wrong for me this year as far as deer hunting. I wanted a muzzleloader hunt. None of my muzzleloaders would shoot right. I've got one more in there that I just hadn't had time to get it out, clean it up, which is clean. But to, shoot it and see really what it's doing. My biggest problem, I worked on other projects, didn't have time. It was hot up into the air. Now, when I got ready to go, well, then my buggy had problems. I had to work and wait on money to order parts for it. And it just seemed like from one thing to the next. And then, like right now, I'm scared really to go off on it because the battery, with this cold weather, has zapped the battery. I need to buy a new battery. And guess what, y'all? I really don't have no extra money laying around just to buy $100, $150, $200 battery. I don't even know what it costs. It'll be at least $100 and something. And, I know a lot of y'all that's followed me came here for black powder and muzzle loading. And I want to make those videos for you. But sometimes things is out of your control. What do you do when everything I wanted to do goes awry? You look around and say, what can I do? What is my options? And I choose, I can do this. I can do that. And that's what you do. It's like on Pirates of the Caribbean when Johnny Depp and that other fellow, they was fighting on there, and the guy said, yeah, he said, but that's against the rules, and there's sword fighting. He said, there's two things a man can do. He said, there's what he can do and what he can't do. He said, that's the only two rules. And there's a lot of truth in that. Now, I know you can't live your life by movie quotes, but, just, it's a good idea to think on, because that's the truth. And you got to apply that to your life. When my axe handle broke, I couldn't just jump in the truck and take off to town. Roads is iced over. I mean, I probably could have, but I want to make my own. I want to take care of me. Spend as little money as I can and see after me, what can I do? Sometimes you're going to be faced with well, I've never done this before. And a lot of people say, well, I can't do that. Can somebody else do it? Well, why can they do it and you can't? The difference between being ignorant and stupid is ignorant is I just hadn't learned that yet. I just don't know. Stupid is when I refuse to learn, when I don't want to learn. There's no point in me knowing that. And it's like this handle. I didn't know how to do everything. You're not going to know either. You're not going to know how to figure out life. When life throws you a curveball and it's coming apart at the seams, and it seems like everything that you like is coming apart, sometimes you just got to figure it out. Try this. Did it work? It didn't. It hurts. Sometimes it's painful. Sometimes, it's unexpected. But don't look at other people and their life and compare it to yours and say, well, it's because they're better than I am. Ain't nobody no better than the other. They probably tried harder. They probably took some risk that you didn't take. They probably sat down and thought some things through that you didn't take time to think through. You see, we've got in a fast-paced world, fast food, instant this, instant coffee, we don't got time for anything. My coffee pot, I don't have to boil water out there in my old cowboy pot. I can go in there and put a filter in the top, put the coffee in it, put some hot water or cold water in the back, and mash a button, and boom, in a little bit, I got coffee. And that's how we expect the rest of our world to work. You know, well, I need this. Let me pull out my money. How much money I got? I buy me a new one of these. And just sometimes you need to stop and say, you know, I'm going to take some time to make something. And I tell you this. When you make an axe handle like this, or a wood splitter handle, or whatever you make, you'll appreciate it a lot more when you've put your heart and soul into creating it. When you've invested in it, it means more to you. And I know this axe handle video turned into a sermon, I reckon, but I just, you know, sometimes I like to sit here and just talk. It's good to learn new things because it helps you to understand a lot more about how the world works. Don't just assume because somebody don't have everything that you have is because they're ignorant and poor, and sometimes it's because they like handling stuff themselves. So anyway, y'all, I have about got this down to what I want. This is the large ball, so what I'll do is I'll look till it'll fit in there. You want it a little bit snug because when you cut your gap in there for your wedge, it'll close in some. So when I get to right here to shaping for that, I'll slow down and take my time. So anyway. All right, y'all, I about got this shaped down. I'm going to crown this top right here with my pocket knife a little bit. And then I'm going to clamp it in the vise and cut my slot in it by hand. A lot of times, y'all, I'll take a table saw and set it in a way that I can run it over it and set it to the depth, you know. But in the spirit of we doing this hand tool deal, talking, we're going to do it with hand tools. Oh, I got to get on. I got too many project things laying around. I think I'm going to turn it this way. I reckon we will use it. Now this one has the medallion. A lot of people, I don't use this saw a whole lot. A lot of them don't have that button on them no more. I'm too high. Too high. I'm like Dr. Hook. I split it on down off camera. All right, that was that. When you learn. That what we was talking about? I got me a good wedge. Oh, now, easy killer. I got it like I want it as far as it's built. I just want to slick up this handle where I don't catch a splinter. Y'all ever caught a splinter? Yeah, them splinters is tough, ain't they? So you take this straight up and you can kind of scrape with it. But, you know, the ideal thing is to get this perfect, but I didn't know how far down because I knew I didn't have a shoulder to taper that down to. You learn when you go in to hunt a stick to do this, you know to find what you're looking for. I picked up what I had laying here that was cured already, okay? And it was something I'd cut off the end of when I was making bow staves, so that's why I'm doing mine a little different. This video really wasn't about how to make a handle, okay? Well, y'all, I have got this like I want it. It's going to work for me. It's probably not going to last like the rest of my life, you know. And we'll find out what all I did wrong in the comment section. I have discovered there's a lot of folks that swear they love my channel. But they don't like the way I do nothing. It don't matter what they start telling me how I ought to have done it. Y'all, I mean, I appreciate it, but I don't need a lot of instruction. If I ask you for instruction, that's one thing. I pretty well do stuff the way I'm gonna do it. Now, I don't mean to be ugly for y'all. I know you just want to help. But I'm showing you how I like to do this. And you steady trying to tell me what you need to do is that I got a better way of it. And you know, I mean, sometimes a better way's better, but a lot of times a better way ain't better. You know, part of what I'm doing is a learning process. I like to learn this way, and I just don't like a whole bunch of people telling me all about how I need to do it. That usually gets you on my... I usually don't tend to like them kind of folks too much. Didn't say I just didn't like them. They ain't on my high list of people. Because they just think that their way is superior to everybody else's way, and usually it ain't. Because I done had a bunch of folks tell me how I ought to do something, and I have tried it, and it wasn't that good. They just thought it was. But I got this sanded down, and it ain't perfect, but it's perfectly imperfect. That's what I like about it. Y'all look at that. Y'all just look at it. Them little imperfections and all. I like it. That's the way I wanted to do it. Take my trapper. I'm gonna cut these curls right here off just because I don't be liking the way they looking at me. Alright, now what we're going to do is we're going to take this jar of bald linseed oil, that's what this is, and this old brush, and I tell you all, I like pine tar, and I got some pine tar. But today we're going to coat it with bald linseed oil. That's what I put on them knife handles. And we're going to put a liberal coat on it. That means, liberal means more than it ought to be. You know, an unnecessary amount. That's what liberal means. We're going to put a liberal amount. More than anybody really needs. More than anybody wants. Too much. That's what I'm putting. You take that however you want to. I don't care. Ah, we got that coated real good. Now I'm gonna go bust up some farwood. Farwud. Farwood. Now I gotta make a handle for that. I'll make a better one for that because I like that the mostest. Them ain't cut perfect on the bottom there. Oh! Boy. It's heavy, for I told you that. I've got a bunch of knots in it. Let's see. Busted my stump. It ain't about 3 years old. Can't believe it's already busted. I ain't gonna mention who cut up all this wood I got. They cut it bad crooked. I figured they are probably watching. Yeah. Ah. But don't you worry. I can make do. I'm sure I don't know what all stuff falling over. Oh. I busted some of this junk up, throwing it back up here with what I was doing the other night when I ruined that. So anyway, y'all, I'll let y'all get on back to your rat killing. Thank you for watching Spirit of the Outdoors. Remember, the best way to do things is the way you like to do it. We'll see y'all. Y'all have a good one.